So thank you so much. Tell us a little about your memories of your first experience at Miami Middletown.
Well, sir, I graduated from high school, Middletown High School, in June of 1968, right about the same time that Robert Kennedy was shot and killed.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I graduated in a very stressful, very unique period of time in our incredible history as a country. I wanted to go into school, didn't want to just stop my schooling at high school. College is very expensive, even back then. Not as expensive as it is now, but it is when you compare the wages that were being paid to what they're being paid now. It was pretty close. So I'd applied at Oxford, and I was curious about what kind of money it would cost, and that was prohibitive. So I took a look at one of the branch campuses, Middletown, Miami, and Miami, Middletown. And it was a much cheaper alternative. It was well within driving range of where I did live, so I opted out for coming here. I wanted to have a degree or degrees that I could use. I didn't want to just go to school and then find out at the end of 4 years I had something that I couldn't use. So I ended up having a double major with accounting and marketing.
So did you know that you wanted to study business when you got here, or did you sort of discover that along the way?
Shortly after I got here, I wanted to have some kind of a degree that I could use, like I just said. And I'm a good numbers man, so accounting and I seemed to be a good fit. And that's what we did.
So,
Met my wife here. I'm 1 year older than her. She and I would hang around Verde Lodge quite a bit during the time when classes weren't on. And we were introduced by a mutual friend, and we became very good friends over a game of foosball up in Verde Lodge. And the friendship was nurtured over the time. We ended up being a couple. We dated for 15 months. In July of 1970, I asked her to marry me. And about another 13 months went by. I had then graduated. Judy she had maybe another, what were they on then?
quarters?
They were on quarters. They switched to quarters. When I started out with trimesters. Then I went over to quarters and then back to semesters, I think. But anyway, shortly after I graduated, within 2 months or so after I graduated, we married, thereby becoming a Miami merger.
Absolutely. So
And I'm proud to say that, on August 26th, 2 weeks ago, we celebrated our 44th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's terrific.
And we did share a kiss underneath Upham Arch, and it seemed to have worked. 44 years seems to be the proof in the pudding.
I'd say so. What do you remember about your classes at Miami Middletown when you first started here? What do you remember about the classes?
What about the classes?
What do you remember about them? Yeah.
I got a good quality education.
Okay.
I didn't have anything to compare it to other than high school, but I was happy with the education I was receiving.
Good.
Very happy. Unfortunately, I could only pursue my degree up through 2 years at the time.
Right.
So when probably May of 1970 came along, I was here shortly after the killings at Kent, your choice of words. I then finished that and I transferred over to the Oxford campus. There were no other courses I could take within my core.
Sure.
Not 300 and 400 level accounting courses or marketing courses, not offered here, not 46 years ago.
No, but well, that's true. That's one of the big changes just within the last year really, is being able to start a bachelor's degree. But you got off to a good start at Miami Middletown, I guess.
I think I did.
Yeah,
I was very, very pleased with the education I got. And they also made you feel, a lot of people were thinking, are you going to like another high school? Well, it's not. They did their very best to make you feel as if you were on a college campus, which it is. Did their best to. They had, in addition to offering quality education, they had intramurals, and I'm proud to say that in the fall of 1969, they had a table tennis ping pong tournament up at Verde Lodge. And I was the winner of the very first table tennis tournament at Miami University Middletown.
All right.
I'm in a wheelchair now. You may or may not have noticed that, but I'm in a wheelchair, and it hasn't always been like that. I had a car wreck in '79.
Oh, dear.
So I was taller then, and I was very agile then. I was a fairly good ping pong player, and
I guess
I
so.
won the tournament.
I guess so.
And it was fun. It was just fun being here. Got a good education. Made several new friends, kept a lot of the old ones, because a lot of the old ones that I had, same as me, just exactly like me, they couldn't afford to go to Oxford. Had nothing to do with their GPAs not being high enough. It really didn't, because I'm not a dummy. Had a pretty good GPA, and so did most of my friends. Well, then you started looking at cost comparison between the two campuses, and we'll come here.
Sounds good.
And if need to, I did need to, the junior year, the beginning of the junior year, transferred to Oxford, the main campus.
So you already had that accounting sense when you were trying to figure out where to go
Absolutely.
to.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out where to go here.
Absolutely. And I'm proud to say that I was hired, Armco, which morphed into AK Steel. When I retired, I was an accountant attached to the energy department for a real long time. Also very proud to say, backtrack a little bit, I had a car wreck on September 13th, 1979. I was off work for 2 years on sickness and accident, and then they retired me. Well, you know what? I wasn't ready to be retired at 31. I knew I wanted to come back. I'm highly educated, highly motivated, and I'm farmed out to my home because of the fact that I'm a quadriplegic. I am a C6 fracture, C7 level dislocation quadriplegic. By the way, you know what is the difference between me and Superman?
No.
My brake is about this much lower. That's the only difference. And when I broke my neck, it very deeply affected her and other members of her family and my friends. And that's pretty much it. When Christopher Reeves broke his neck by being thrown over the front of a horse, people on the other side of the world were saying, did you hear what happened to Chris Reeves? Just a difference. So, we deal with it as we can. We each do.
We sure do. So you said you weren't ready to retire. So what did you do then?
Well, I was in one of 3 hospitals after the wreck. Middletown Hospital for 11 weeks recuperating. They shipped me down to a Good Sam in Cincinnati for a short-term rehab. And when I got down there, I said, I really want to try to go back to work. While I was in Middletown, there was a complement of men who came out to see me in my hospital bed and said, if you can somehow get your life back together and you can make it back to work, we've got a job for you. And I thought, wow, there's the carrot on the stick. We can do this. But I needed to have certain things. For one thing, the woman right there. I think I've done a lot with my life, but I couldn't have done anything without her right there. Wouldn't have been possible. Anyway, I went down to Good Sam and I told them, I got a chance to go back to work. I don't want to just be farmed out. At the time, 30, I need to do certain things. I need to have certain things done. I need a writing splint. I need to learn how to drive. And they said, that is admirable. we can't do either one of them here. But have you ever heard of this place called Dodd Hall up in Columbus? I said, no. So will you be willing to go up there and get the skills you need in order to go back to work? That's a tough call, you know. How long would it be? I said, it could be months, which they don't do now. But at the time, they put me up in Columbus. They offered me the chance to go to Columbus, Dodd Hall, and be there for several months and learn a variety of the tricks and intricacies that I needed to have, like getting a riding splint made for me, like learning how to drive. And I wasn't going to learn how to drive because the last time I drove, I nearly killed myself. And Judy said, look, if you do that while you're at Dodd Hall now, insurance is going to pay for this. If they release you, it's out of our own pocket, so give it a shot. She was right. So I took driving classes up at Dodd Hall, in addition to having my splint made, several riding splints made for me. And I was there for almost 5.5 months. That was very, very tough. Very, very tough. She's by herself, back home. She kept the home fires burning. She would come to see me, pick me up on a Saturday morning from here in Columbus, bring me back home, and it was fine. It was acceptable with the good folks there, as long as she had me back by the end of the day Sunday. So we did that.
So then that enabled you to go back to work then?
Enabled me to go back to work. And I kept bugging them, telling them, you know, got anything, got anything, got anything? And they said, well, you do realize, you do read the paper, right? You know we have 1,100 men laid off. We can't bring you back if we wanted to, but time will be better, and we'll bring you back. And they did. And they did, and I was brought back as an accountant attached to an energy department in the Middletown Works of Armco Steel at the time.
Well, it sounds like you made good use of your Miami Middletown education.
That's exactly what I was going to say then. You don't just do this stuff. You don't, certainly just don't absorb it by some kind of a purple haze. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. And I had some good courses here that laid the foundation for the accounting and the marketing classes that I had at Oxford campus. I had good teachers, professors, interrelated well with a lot of people, just thoroughly enjoyed my time here, and I learned quite a bit about what I needed to do.